having a hard time moving on? At The Agape, you'll find heartwarming posts and spirit-led inspiration designed to help you take a break from the noise of the day and hear the voice of God. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Hello everybody, welcome to The Agape. I truly hope that you're having a great day so far. So recently I did a video on divorce as a new beginning, and I did the letters N-E-W. And I realized after doing the video that the Lord wasn't quite done with the N yet. And so I had mentioned that N, now that you know that your spouse wants a divorce, nip it in the bud, the idea that your life is over, that things are not going to get better, that you cannot pursue your dreams. He also wants me to talk about the word no. There will be times when you will have to say no. That will be part of you setting good boundaries for yourself. So, I'm sorry, it's a little windy out here. Sometimes you may get asked to do something or to go somewhere, and it's okay to say no. And start practicing not giving an explanation. Well, I can't do it because I have to do X, Y, Z. You don't have to put yourself in that place. You can literally say, no, today is not going to work for me. And you may have some people that say, well, why? Today is not going to work for me. So practice saying your no. It is not a bad thing, or it's not a wrong thing to say no. You want to find yourself doing things that add life to you, things that give you life, not things that take life away from you. So that will be your N. All right. And then for E, I talked about embracing every day with thanksgiving, with gratitude. I feel that the Lord wanted me to add another word for E, which would be to embrace the journey. Divorce is it's a very difficult and painful journey, and I don't know that we ever get to a place where we say, I have arrived. Finally, I don't feel this pain. I don't have this hurt. I don't think that's true, because I know for me recently, I was talking to a good friend of mine. She also went through a divorce, and I had just thought of her. So I sent her a text to say, hey, how you doing? And she said, well, her daughter used to say, well, guess what happened yesterday night? So I was reading the Bible, and there was something in there about yesterday night. I think when Jacob knew that Esau was coming and he found a place to lay his head, something to that effect. But anyway, she said, literally yesterday night I got engaged. I was literally, honestly, from my heart, very happy for her. So we text back and forth about the ceremony and the reception. Then I had this little sadness come over me. I'm like, when is it going to be my turn? To date again and to court again and to have that question popped. And I embraced that moment. I was actually getting ready for work too. So I cannot tell you at what point that lifted, but it did. I don't know. So I acknowledge that I did feel that way, but I didn't stay in that place. So embrace every day with gratitude, but enjoy the journey. Enjoy the days of uncertainties, because that's where we put our hope in the Lord, and that's where we grow. We get to see how anxious we are. Are we still anxious about what things are going to look like or how they turn out? Or are we able to sit in that discomfort? And when I say sit, I don't mean if you have schoolwork to do that you don't do it. I mean, you're doing your schoolwork as you acknowledge that, man, this thing is uncomfortable right now, for example. All right. So enjoy the journey, embrace every day with grace and gratitude. And back to N. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. There are people who are mean-spirited. There are people who say things about us. There are people who plan evil for us. Sometimes you're doing well on the job. Sometimes you're doing well. You're using your wisdom about your finances. You're using wisdom regarding your time. And sometimes people don't like that. But just remember that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So never, never, ever give up. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. And then for E, I had talked about embracing every day with gratitude and thanksgiving. He also wanted me to add E, that you empty yourself of the malice, the rage, the unforgiveness, the bitterness. You know, sometimes we're emptying out our closet or emptying out the apartment. We don't want anything that reminds us of the spouse. We don't want anything that reminds us of the marriage. And that's good. That's external. But let's go into your soul. Empty out the unforgiveness, empty out the bitterness, empty out the rage, empty out the anger, the desire to retaliate. I mean, you can do a list, the pros and cons of everything I listed. I want to guess that the pros of letting those things go or emptying yourself of them will outweigh or supersede the desire to want to keep those things. It's not good for your blood pressure. It's not good for your sugar level. I mean, sometimes when you're angry or tired or spiteful, you may eat a lot. That's not good for your spirit. So empty yourself of those things, all right? So embrace every day with thanksgiving or gratitude. Enjoy the journey. Empty yourself of those things that will bring you discomfort, those things that will be literally negative for your soul. It's hard to pray or difficult to pray when you're in rage or anger, when you're spiteful, because you say, "Dear Jesus," and then you see their face and you're like, "I can't wait to do this to them," So not worth it, sister girl, not worth it, brother boy, all right? And then for W, I had talked about waiting on the Lord, that waiting on the Lord is a posture of the heart. So I remember I had to do that recently. I had a rental property that the last tenants didn't do a great job with, so I fixed it up, and I was praying to the Lord to give me new tenants for the new season. The house was, it was in good shape, but just every day I would check in there, or check in on it rather, and no prospect. People walk through the house, and then one morning I just had this unction that it was time to sell the house. I wasn't sure if it was me or the Holy Spirit at that time. So I decided to wait, and I was still checking in on whether tenants had applied. She said, "Oh, I have lots of applications, but people are not following through." I said, "No problem, they probably will." And then the next day or two, I sent a text to my realtor and I said, I don't know, for some reason, I just feel like it's time to sell a house, but hold off on that idea. Let me make sure I'm hearing from the Lord. And so, then the next day or two, I just had this knowing it was time to sell the house. And so to confirm, I checked in with the rental property manager, and she said, "Yeah, nothing's coming through. I mean, people are applying, but I had that peace come upon me." And so I reached back out to the realtor and I said, "It's time to sell the house." Those are things that you won't find in the Bible. When is the time to sell your house? When is the time to get new tenants? You wait on the Lord and you have an unction by the Holy Spirit. So that's what I did. So that's what I mean by waiting on the Lord. And in the time of waiting on the Lord, I want you to remember no weapon. So, hey, the N is still for no. The W now is weapon. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. The weapons will form. People will taunt you. People will want to annoy you. People may say lies about you. They may say mean things about you. But no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Keep your heart, your eyes focused on the Lord. All right? So you're going to wait on the Lord. Remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Also remember for W that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Truly we do not. There are spirits that will use people to annoy us, that will use people to make us act out of character. That's why it's very important what your day looks like, what your life looks like. And I'm not ashamed to say that I have to start the day with the Lord.